Day 34. Ministering to Strangers. Do what you would want done to you. If you knew that someone was walking down the aisle at Walmart and you had a physical problem and they had what it took to set you free, you would hope that they would do that for you. So love him or love them like you would want to be loved. And just pray for them. And like a normal person, love them and do your best. Start where you're at. Josh Greason. Acts chapter 3, verses 1 through 8. One day Peter and John were going to the temple at the time of prayer at 3 in the afternoon. Now a man who was lame from birth was being carried to the temple gate called Beautiful, where he was put every day to beg from those going into the temple courts. When he saw Peter and John about to enter, he asked them for money. Peter looked straight at him, as did John. Then Peter said, "Look at us." So the man gave them his attention, expecting to get something from them. Then Peter said, "Silver or gold I do not have, but what I do have I give you. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, walk." Taking him by the right hand, he helped him up, and instantly the man's feet and ankles became strong. He jumped to his feet and began to walk. Then he went with them into the temple courts, walking and jumping and praising God. One night, while I was out walking, the Lord directed me to two gentlemen. One was a Muslim man who had a broken leg. I ended up talking to them and sharing my testimony. They were both impacted by the testimony and had lots of questions. The one with the broken leg said, "It's hard to believe miracles." "Oh yeah?" I replied. "What about your foot? What happened?" He said he was in a car accident. I asked if it hurt, and he said yes. "Okay, well, if I pray for you and the pain goes away, then you'll know God does miracles, right?" He agreed. I asked if I could put my hand on his leg, and then I prayed. "How's it feel?" I asked. "It still hurts. Can I pray again?" "Sure." I put my hand on his leg and prayed again. I looked up at his eyes. I looked up and his eyes were huge. It's psychology. Or I guess that's what the word is. Sorry, guys. He exclaimed, "What psychology? Is the pain gone in your leg?" "It's because I saw you do it." He rationalized, "It's all in my brain." He refused to believe it, even though God had set him up. I laughed. Okay, I won't call it a miracle until you check it out. But if you find out your leg isn't broken anymore, you know God did a miracle for you. Okay, yeah, that's right. He nodded. He looked strangely relieved. I went on to share the gospel with both of them, and we had a long conversation. There are a number of things to consider when ministering to strangers. Each time you approach someone you don't know, remember that God doesn't know them, or that God does know them, and He can direct your words and actions. If you propose in your heart to let Him love through you. When the person you approach does not know Jesus, you have to realize that they didn't believe in the gospel, they don't believe in the gospel, let alone healing. The healing is a sign to them, and it's probably something they are not seeking. You have to offer it to them, knowing that they will not understand until they are touched by Christ's power. Other times, the strangers you meet are other believers who may look at you as a cocky, charismatic, who wants to pressure them into some kind of faith healing fantasy world in the same way you would approach a lost person with kindness and compassion. These people need to know that you truly care for them and genuinely believe that this will work. They may also need to be down to earth and normal enough in your demeanor for them to trust you. You may even find yourself ministering to believers who do not know you but do believe in healing and therefore have great expectation of you. They may look at you as a powerful healing minister, or a man or woman of God who is supplying healing power in a way that they need. In every case, you must lift up the name of Jesus boldly, like Peter and John, declaring to all that faith in the name of Jesus makes the sick person well. Acts chapter 3, verses 12 through 16. Compassion and humility are disarming for unbelieving strangers, and these are also a healthy, balancing measure for those who view you as a powerful servant of God. Compassion and humility cannot be faked, and through them, people will encounter Jesus, and that's your role whenever you approach a stranger. Introduce them to the person of Jesus Christ. They may never meet you again, but they're sure to meet Jesus again. Prayer starter. Worship God and acknowledge His great love and compassion for those who do not know Him. Thank Him that He paid the price for every human being and that He loves all equally. Ask Him to give you His heart for strangers and to give you genuine care for those you don't know. Ask Him to increase your compassion. Contemplate the suffering of others. Think about how you would feel if you were paralyzed and the person in the next aisle of the supermarket had access to the cure for your paralysis. Ask God to empower and embolden you to do for others what you would want them to do for you. Journal experience. What do you consider to be the most intimidating aspect of approaching a stranger to pray for healing? Ask the Lord how to overcome that issue and write down any solutions that come to mind. Action step. Either keep your eyes out for people with obvious physical conditions today, or simply offer to pray for everyone you can, ministering healing to those who need it. When you see obvious conditions like a cast, crutches, or a wheelchair, the easiest approach is often to ask the person, "What's your story?" or "What happened?" And once you have listened intently to their story, ask if you can pray for them. Supplement reading will be John chapter 5, verses 1 through 5.